If your band director asked you to learn how to play the piccolo, maybe it's for a concert or for marching band or for being in a pit orchestra for a musical, this can be kind of intimidating if you've never played a piccolo before. So if you are one of these people who has played the flute for a number of years, you're pretty good on this, and you want to learn how to play this is your quick start guide. A piccolo is basically like a little flute. It's played very similarly to our regular sized flute, but it doesn't have all of the buttons. So you'll notice, you'll put your fingers on your piccolo just like you would your flute, but there's no foot joint over here. So it ends with just your little pinky key in your right hand. So the lowest note that the piccolo can actually play is a D. And when you play any note on a piccolo, fingering it just as you would normally on a flute, it's actually going to sound one octave higher than what you see. So for some people that can take a little bit of adjustment, but you get used to it pretty quickly. When I put together my piccolo, what I like to do is when I line it up, just like we're lining up our head joint on the body of the flute, I like to make sure that the embouchure hole, the little hole that you blow into, is lined up with the first finger left hand button. I actually roll it in just a little tiny bit more than I do on my flute. So once we have the head joint lined up with the first finger key here, now we got to make a sound. So the first thing that I recommend to my students is actually playing the piccolo without pushing any buttons down. And if you remember back to when you first started on your flute in your band class, you probably just learned how to make a sound at first on the head joint without the rest of the body. This is a very similar idea because piccolo is about the size of a head joint. It's a little bit longer, but it's a very familiar concept to what you did way back when. So I just hold the piccolo without pushing any buttons down. I kind of hold the head joint of it here and maybe underneath where the pinky key is. And I line it up on my lip a little bit higher than where I typically have my flute rest. So my flute normally is down here, and I'm gonna get a little close so you can see, which is way down, like kind of resting on my chin almost, way down here. For my piccolo, I actually have it to where I can feel the inside embouchure hole, the part that's like closest to me, on the lowest part of the pink part of my bottom lip, okay? Once I have that there and it feels set and secure, then I'm gonna blow down just like I do on my flute. And that is a C sharp. There you go. It may not be in tune with how I'm sounding. If you end up playing this along with me, that's okay. But once you can make that sound, you are in business to play every single other note. So once we have the C sharp or the D flat, now we can use our fingers to push down the buttons. So the resting point for the piccolo in the left hand, it's just like the flute. It's right here on the inside of the first finger. So that's gonna kind of pull back to make sure that the lip plate is against your lip like this. You're gonna kind of pull it this way. And then your right hand thumb is going to be underneath your first two fingers here, just kind of balancing. That's where your balance point is. So you should be able to move around without your piccolo coming loose or like really jiggling. That's one thing that I notice with my students is there can be a lot of movement of the piccolo when we're playing really fast stuff, and we don't want that. We want the piccolo to be really solid and stable right against the bottom part of our lip here. Okay, so even when we move our fingers, the piccolo head joint should not be moving at all on your face. Very first thing that we should try to do together here, and if you have your piccolo, let's try it together, is a B flat scale. Most people know their B flat scale at this point. If you are ready to learn a piccolo, you know your B flat scale. So let's go ahead and try it together. Just going up, we'll do about like this. We'll do 2 beats per pitch, so like a half note per pitch on a B flat. And if we are out of tune, that's fine. We're gonna address that. Okay, let's try our B flat. 1 and 2, B flat scale. Here we go. The hardest thing that I find is just not allowing that piccolo to move and adjust on your face. Now, we do have to practice. Obviously, if you're swapping between, in a concert, maybe playing flute and piccolo on the same song, we do have to practice bringing the piccolo down, bringing it back up, being able to play immediately. That happens over time, but that is a really good thing to practice as well. So I would suggest playing a B flat scale, take your piccolo down, bring it back up, do it again a few times until you find that sweet spot of where your good piccolo sound is, where your piccolo rests on your face. Now, when we're playing in a group on piccolo, I recommend tuning your piccolo a little bit sharp. And we tune the piccolo just like we do the flute. When we push our head joint in, that raises the pitch. When we pull the head joint out, it lowers it. So generally speaking, a lot of times in bands, you'll probably either tune to a B flat or an F. Sometimes you'll tune to an A natural. It all just depends on the band. So what I would suggest at home before you even get to the group setting is to play with a tuner and see if you can be about 5 cents sharp. I don't exactly know why this works so well, but anytime I have a student going to solo an ensemble or playing in an orchestra, playing in a band, playing in a marching band, tuning the piccolo just 5 cents sharp works every single time. And I think probably because playing a piccolo is so aerobic and it takes so much effort and energy. Over time, our shoulders droop. We kind of get a little concave, sort of, and that can really lower the pitch. It's really easy to, again, if the piccolo adjusts at all, to go out of tune as well. So tuning your piccolo just a half a hair sharp, generally speaking, is what you want to do in a group setting. So when you're ready to start playing music on your piccolo, you've got your settings, you're tuned a little bit sharp, you can play all the notes. Now we got to put pen to paper, basically. We got to read the notes that are actually in some music. I would recommend not starting with your band music that you actually need to play on the piccolo. I would go way back in time. Grab your 6th or 7th grade band book that you probably have in a closet somewhere and pick one of the really easy songs that you know how to play. So the one that I'm gonna do is This Old Man Fell Down is the name of this song here. I will put it up on the screen so you can see it. But because I know how this sounds, and you probably know how that sounds as well, that will train my brain to, one, when I'm playing the music, recognize that what's going to come out of my piccolo is going to be an octave higher than what I'm seeing, but also it kind of takes the anxiety of playing really hard music out so I can really focus on getting a good piccolo sound, because right now that is the top priority, is not even playing in tune really, it's actually getting a good piccolo sound. Once you have that, you're gonna be fine the rest of the time, but it's getting that initial sound that can be the most challenging for most people. So what if you don't have a piccolo yet? So if your school has a piccolo instrument, that's probably the piccolo that you're going to be given to use. You want to make sure that it is in good, proper working order, because a lot of the piccolos that schools have can be a little on the older side. Maybe they were donated from a family a long, long time ago. I know the high school that I went to actually still uses the piccolo that I used when I was learning piccolo way back when piccolos are taken well care of, they can last forever. So even if you get an old piccolo from your school, it doesn't mean it's bad. If you're planning on getting a piccolo for yourself to actually own, you want to make sure you get a piccolo that is appropriate for the setting that you're going to be playing in. So if you're going to be using it in marching band, I recommend getting an all metal piccolo or a plastic piccolo or a composite piccolo. All three of those can be taken outside. Of course, you want to shield it from the elements if you can. You really don't want it to get rained on, but those are fine for taking outside. If you're only going to be playing the piccolo inside, a composite or a wood piccolo like I have is going to be your best bet. Those sound a little more rich, a little more professional. They still have a good sound production that really blends well with the group. It gives you a little easier ability to play soft when necessary. And as far as brands go that I recommend to my students, Gemeinhardt, Yamaha, Dijau, and Pearl are all very good piccolos that will last you a really long time. And there are music stores that allow you to do in-home piccolo and flute trials from the comfort of your home. I recommend Flute World. They are a fantastic company. They have a ton of different instruments, and you can actually get free shipping with the code that I have in the description bar of this video. So they will send you the Piccolo to try for free with free shipping with that code. It also gets you 10% off of music and accessories as well if you do end up purchasing a Piccolo and you want to get some, like a cleaning rod or something like that. But I find that the in-home trails are really nice because you can actually take the Piccolo with you to school, try it in your band, see how it sounds. You've got a few days to do it. And if you don't like the Piccolo, you send it back and they can send you another one. Or if you do like it, you buy it and you keep it. So I hope this was helpful for you and help set you up for success if you are new to playing the Piccolo. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment below.